Okay, welcome back to another podcast, guys. Sitting here again in real life podcast guest, we've got Jack, and Jack is going to basically just, same as we did last week, he's just going to explain his story, what he's currently doing with his business. We're going to get into a lot of topics, but yeah, Jack, thank you for coming on.
No worries, it's good to finally get this done. We have been talking about it for a good while, so.
We actually hit the sauna today, so we're feeling nice and relaxed, ready to go. So here we are. So I guess let's just kick it off with what you're doing, right, in terms of business. We can go into a little bit of lifestyle as well. Like obviously right now we're in Spain. You've been here for a little while. And then from there we'll just get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, no worries, sounds good. So basically our agency is content creation and marketing. So we handle those two aspects of it. And basically we started off just doing the content creation, and then we kind of decided that we're delivering high quality content to people, but they don't know how to use it or how to leverage it correctly. They're posting it organically, and maybe I think Facebook released some stat that said like they were only showing 3% of your organic audience or your following to your audience organically. So it was kind of easy using those kind of statistics to sell marketing program on top of that. So we started off with the content and we upsold to the marketing, and now we just run those two main aspects: Facebook ads and email marketing and the content creation.
Yeah, and that makes sense, doesn't it? Because in my agency we don't do any paid ads.
Yeah.
But a lot of our clients, once they find that the content is good, it's getting them a little bit of engagement, then they'll be like, okay, how can we step this up? And how can we run the ads behind that? Because obviously that will boost it up, like you said. So in terms of, let's say, split of the business, let's say revenue-wise, is it mainly content, mainly ads, or what does that look like?
Honestly, it's really even at the minute. Like, I'm not sure it would change every month because the marketing is kind of it's kind of similar every month, but the content can be like up one month and down another. But well, recently we've been pretty much fully booked, so it has been kind of 50-50 to be honest, or like 60-40 maybe even on the content side if it's a good month. But yeah, it's really good to have that because it means like we have our retainers coming in for the marketing, but then we also just get boosted every month by like one-off payments for content, and it's really good to kind of just have those injections of cash, like for cash flow every month, just having that coming through.
100%, man. Yeah, and you know, again, like we create content, but it's a completely different form of content than what you guys do, right? Because in my agency, it's all digital, so we'll never like do a video shoot, a photo shoot, none of that with one of our clients. We'll always create like graphics, videos, and content from their content. Whereas with you actually go out there and shoot it, right?
Yeah, so we have a product called a video business card, which basically is it's just like the video for your business really. Okay. It's gonna be like testimonial. We'll bring people in for testimonials. We'll bring them and we'll like pretty much do the whole business journey from start to finish, when they started, where they're at now. Just basically a 2-minute video going through their whole business, and kind of just sells it for them really. It's good. And that's kind of our best product for the content side. But then obviously we can use that then for ads as well. We'll snip it up, we'll use it for stories, we'll use it, sometimes we even run the whole video as an ad, like for lead gen. It's actually really good as well. So yeah, they work really like hand in hand together, the content.
Yeah, exactly, because you're creating it and then you're using it on the back end, like you said, to run more traffic to it, retarget, run story ads, all that. So yeah, man, makes 100% sense to me. And like, I suppose that's an interesting topic though with the content, right? Of 1 month you might have a big influx. Let's say you've got 3 clients on board and they're doing like product launches. Okay, you're going to have this big influx. So it is good that then you have the recurring income from the marketing and the ad side as well.
Yeah, it is good. And then we actually do have 1 or 2 clients that are content retainer as well. So they'll pay us a retainer and then we give them a fixed amount of content every month, just kind of but that's only like 1 or 2, and then the rest are just kind of coming in through, mostly we get them through referrals, through word of mouth. Like we don't actually do much. That's probably something we can talk about after, like further, like in more detail, but we don't actually do much outreach at all. It's mostly just referrals, which is a good position to be in.
It is, because you know my agency is very different
Yeah.
to that. It's always been heavy on just outbound outreach, whether it's Instagram, email,
Yeah.
LinkedIn. And like that's where we've always gotten, I would say 80%
Yeah.
of our revenue is all outbound.
Yeah.
Whereas with you guys, it's probably the opposite, right? It's probably 80% inbound.
It's actually like nearly 100% inbound, to be honest. Apart from not really the marketing side, the content side is pretty much 100% inbound, maybe like 90-10. But it's from referrals, and it's just like delivering a quality product. It's easy for word to spread. Like if you're delivering a quality product consistently, and like business, especially in Belfast, it's not a massive. Well, Northern Ireland's not a massive place. Like business owners know each other. Everybody knows
Word
each other.
gets
So
around.
if you're it's very easy to kind of get those referrals through that like circle of business owners at the top. And honestly, it happened really quickly as well. Like just like deliver one product, and then they're referring to their friend, to their friend, to their friend, and they're all coming in, and it's just like it's a good place to be, and it's a good indication of the quality of our product. Because obviously that wouldn't happen if you're given like a mediocre product.
Yeah, 100%. If the content was not good and like you weren't getting results, then you wouldn't get any. It makes sense, yeah. And it's interesting because, you know, in my agency we've had a couple of months where we had like huge influxes of referrals, but then there's certain months where we'll get none.
Yeah.
Right. So we had a month. It was actually last year, and I think we had like 8 to 10 new clients from referrals only, which was mad because we were doing the outbound plus that. Whereas on average now we're probably looking at like 2 clients a month referrals, which is still good, but there's kind of that inconsistency where with the outreach it's not as effective, and we obviously have to pay to get those clients. We pay our team to do it, but then we have the consistency, knowing that okay, if we do X amount of outreach, we're pretty much guaranteed to get Y amount of people coming in on a weekly basis. But
we do have a VA on outreach, but like the business that comes through that is still nowhere near in comparison to what is coming through the inbound. So it's like we do have it in place just to keep things ticking over. Like it's good to get those. Like sometimes you will just hit a good one on outreach and you'll get a good reply, you'll get a sales meeting going, and you can close them. But the consistency of that is nowhere near in comparison to the consistency of the inbound that we get. Yeah.
All right, so it's very interesting that you guys actually have a lot of clients in one region.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously that links to the referrals, because again, if you've got a business owner in Belfast, you do an amazing job, they're going to talk to Jim, John, and Jane that they also know, and it obviously spreads easily. Was that something you guys planned? Like, did you plan to be like the go-to guys in Belfast, or did it just happen?
I mean, it's obviously the goal is to be like number one in your area before you start to expand into like UK, but obviously it's not a massive area to be taken over. Like there is businesses, but if you're looking for like quality clients, we have our best clients are down south, to be honest. So we have got good clients from Northern Ireland, but also like we have moved into like the Republic of Ireland and also England as well, and then we have a few overseas clients as well now as well. So we didn't plan to like just take over like Northern Ireland area, but it kind of just happened because it was like the low hanging fruit really. So you take that, and then word spreads, and then you can start to scale from there into different geographical locations as well.
Facts. Yeah, man.
So we actually have a client in the Maldives as well, which we just do like lead gen for them, and it's kind of a good one to have because they're always like they'll put us up for the week. We were meant to be there right now actually.
Yeah, because I remember this from last year where Paul. I remember he was saying he got a trip.
I didn't get to go, but Paul went, and they just pretty much put us.
No, it's not bad, man. That's the perks of a good client.
Well, Paul just shot a video for them, just like for them to use then in their ads and stuff. But like it's good to have that. I mean, we don't obviously be over there much, but it's good to have it if you want to.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, that's another topic that we should definitely dive into, right? So there's yourself, and you've got your brother in the business, and then obviously, like you said, you've got VAs, you've got a couple of team members on content, lead gen, all those different parts. How is that relationship with you and your brother?
It's good. Like, you'd think that we'd like argue and bicker a lot, but we actually don't. Like at the start, maybe we were kind of working really closely with each other. We were both working on the same things at the start, but now it's very much he has his tasks and I have mine, and we don't really need to rub off each other as much anymore. At the start we definitely did, and that was kind of because he knew what he was doing a lot more than I did at the start. Like, so he's 6 or 7 years older than me, so and he's been in the game longer than me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we did work together a lot at the start, and we were rubbing off each other a lot. I can't honestly think of any times where we actually like had arguments or anything, but obviously like now it's like I'm in my lane and he's in his. He's still handling kind of the content side a lot. He's like managing that. He's not really shooting himself, but he is managing that, and I'm kind of handling the marketing side as well. So I'm doing that. He's doing that, and so yeah, it's really like it's not difficult at all, to be honest, and it's good because we do work in the same office together. But I'm here now, and he's at home.
He's back home, so you have the free time
exactly.
to
and
breathe,
even still, like I don't even speak to him much, even during the day. Sometimes, well, obviously, just like check in with each other and see, make sure everything's going okay. But yeah, we don't speak that much. We don't have to now, but at the start, we definitely did a lot.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
100%. Because I think like with any partnership, if there's 2 people or 3, like, there's always going to be that phase right at the start where it's, you know, you're both literally doing the same things every day. And you're right, there comes a point where you kind of split.
Yeah,
and he does one thing, you do the other. And I think that's why it works, right? Because if you both were still like shooting the content together, or both just working on the lead gen campaigns for clients, well, then you probably would be against each other all day, because you don't have your own lane.
And sometimes like I feel like if we were to be constantly working on the same things, like I would want to do it this way, he might want to do it that way. It's very easy to start like disagreeing then, and that's when personally I think things could start to get pretty nasty if you're starting to disagree on the same thing. So that's why we prefer to just have our own things. I used to always like refer to him if I was gonna like send an email or send messages. I was always asking him, I was like, should I do this? Should I do this?
Almost for permission, right?
Yeah, but now I'm just like, I guess it just comes with the confidence of like being in it longer. But yeah, now I'm just like, I'm just gonna do it, and I just don't need to refer to him, and then it's just much smoother. Like I deal with the clients. I kind of do deal with the client communication a bit more than him. So yeah, I used to be like, if a client message, I'll be like, what should I say? What should I say? What should I say? But now I'm just like, I'll just do it. I'll handle it.
You get to a stage
there's no
where
point in me doing the job if I'm going to ask him what to say.
Because he may as well just do
exactly,
it then.
Yeah. But it's also like, I think if we were to be working on the same thing, it's kind of hard to scale that way, isn't it? Because you're constantly, like we're working on one task that really it should be only one person working on it. The other person, like there's plenty more to be done.
100%. Like if you have 2 business partners and you're both good at sales, well, who's going to handle the technical side? Or you have 2 business partners and you're both really technical, great at building systems. Well, who's going to sell the damn service? Like you need that split, I think.
And that's kind of where we're at now. He's still managing content, but he's also like on sales. If someone's coming through, he's gonna be doing the sales call always. Like I would never do it, but it's just because he's good at it, and I'm not. Like I'm happy to admit that. Like we just have to play to your strengths. Especially in a partnership. Definitely play to your strengths, and like he'll bring them, and I'll kind of handle the fulfillment and the onboarding, and then it works really well. Like he's good at sales. He'll bring them in, and then and then we have Ash as well, who's like our head media buyer. So we'll just handle fulfillment then. And the communication.
Like it, man. Solid.
So it's worked well. It's a good system that we have in place now.
And you brought up another interesting point, right? Which was that at the start you obviously would chat every day, right? So like probably you're in person, you're going through every working hour together.
Yeah.
Whereas there comes a point with your business, whether it's with team members or a partner, I think, where you actually end up stepping back a bit.
Yeah.
Where like for example now, like I don't speak to half of my team like ever.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely don't have any contact with them.
Yeah.
Because there's other people that have contact with them. And it's almost like that kind of hierarchy of, you know, once you get to that more CEO level, like you're just not going to need to speak to everyone.
Yeah.
So like for you guys, it's even on the partnership level of you've got your bits, he's got his bits, you handle it. And you actually don't need that. Whereas I think people would assume that like you'd be on the phone with them pretty much all day.
Yeah.
You're running the business together, you're literally chatting back and forth all day, but like no, it's not the reality.
It's so easy to like waste time doing that as well. Like there's no like pointless communication can take a lot of time out of your day, especially if you're on the phone to people you don't need to be on the phone to. Yeah. But now we have this, our kind of system is like Paul and myself at kind of managing, I guess, and then we have Ash, who's like the head media buyer, and then we have Jack, who is a media manager. So Paul and Jack would bounce off each other a lot, and I would be speaking to Ash a lot, but I would never speak to Jack really. Yeah. Because I don't need to. Like
exactly.
And Jack would never have to speak to me about ads. Sometimes if I have like an ad that I want created, I'll speak to Jack to get him to shoot it properly the way I want it, but rarely. Like there's no need for me to speak to him much, and he doesn't need to speak to me. And Ash, and Jack never really speak to each other either.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
You're just in your different lanes.
Yeah, so that we have our lanes, and that's good. And then the plan is like when for scaling is to have somebody below them as well. So Ash will be our kind of marketing manager, and Jack will be the media manager. And then actually we have now another videographer under Jack as well. So
sweet. And it's just constantly building that where you've almost got, like, you're going to still be the manager, like, probably forever, right? Because that's just how most businesses work. But you will have managers under you.
Yeah,
they're not managing the whole business, but like that, they're managing the media or the content, whatever it may be.
And it is falling into that place already. Like, that's what's starting to happen. Obviously, it's going to take time to build the team up. You don't want to hire unless you need to hire, obviously. But Jack is now got videographers below him, so he's in that manager role. Paul doesn't really speak to these videographers much because Jack's doing it. So, and he's like, it's good to have that type of personality, like as a manager as well. He has it, so. Because it'd be one thing if he's like a really good videographer, but he kind of has to be a good manager as well. Yeah, you know what I mean? If he's going to have a team under him, he has to. So, but he is good at that, so that's why it works really well. And then the plan will be to get some more media buyers as well and put them under Ash, so he can manage them, and then me and Paul will just kind of sit at the top and handle it. Kind of pull strings, I guess.
Pull strings, man. That's what it's all about. Because like that is that's a whole job in itself.
Yeah.
It's more being an operator of the business.
Exactly.
Less of I'm going to do everything myself, but getting other people to do the work. So where do you guys see it going? And let's say, I suppose, just like the next 6 months to a year. Like, do you have grand ambitions of like, let's scale to the highest number we possibly can, or is there like a set goal of get to X? Automate the business and kind of just let it run? What's your goals really?
We do have financial goals, but I guess we are very strict on like making sure the groundwork's in place before we scale. Like we are ready. We kind of literally just in the last couple of weeks have signed up for a program that's going to hopefully scale us to the next level. But so we do have financial goals for next year that we want to hit, but we need to make sure that our systems are in place and the groundwork's in place before we do that, because I feel like if you scale and you're not, like, your team's not ready for it, that's very easy to crumble.
Messy.
It will get very messy, so we just need to make sure that like everybody's confident with the systems and the team is like rock solid before we start to spread it
100%, man. And I can tell you from experience, we definitely had a period where we scaled way too fast.
Yeah.
And you just create so much headaches, and systems break, people break, and they get pushed to a limit that they shouldn't be pushed to, and you don't want to get there. Like, look, it might actually happen, because I think with a lot of businesses, it's hard to completely future-proof that. Like, there's going to come a point you might break a little system or whatever, but the fact that you are focused on foundations it's a good sign.
Yeah, I think you have to be. And then, like, because I touched on it before there, but like, if we were to scale and then say like our media manager or our marketing manager just wasn't like ready to have people under him. He might be really good at his job, but he might not be the guy to handle a full team under him. But we would need to know that before we start to put like a lot more work and a lot more people under him, because I feel like if you did scale way too fast and those people kind of weren't ready for it, then things will start to get messy. So
so true, man. And like you said, there's a big difference between being good at something and good at teaching or showing others how to do that thing.
And I was the same when I started. Like I did not know how to manage a team when I started. Like I was just good at using my computer and running ads. That's all I could do.
Doing the work,
But then obviously I learned how to do it. I kind of just, as you're in the game longer, you do kind of
you learn
things.
It. 100%.
So, but now I feel like I'm confident with like managing the team, and it's like it's a good personality trait for me to have gained, because I was really like not like that at all before. If like 3 years ago I'd have said like that I would have been able to do like that type of thing, like managing the team, I'd be like, no, that's not me.
Yeah, because it sounds very stressful and like very hard to do.
It's like,
and
I'd be like, no way, like just put me in front of my computer, no one's
and just do the work. But
it's good for me personally anyway, rather like to just have built that, like,
because that's a skill. Like, whether you keep the agency for the next 10 years or you go into a different business in 2 years, you're gonna have to manage people. You're gonna have to have that kind of managerial like outlook really on the business. So it's a skill, so even if the business like crumble or something happens, you have that.
It's a life skill you've got. Exactly, and it can be taken into so many different things. Not
100%. Like every business, you've got to manage something, right? Whether it's people or like the ads for the business, whatever it may be, you're always going to have to do it. And I know we spoke about this the other day, right? I think we're actually in the sauna where we were talking about programs, courses, masterminds, and investing, right? In one of those things. So you and your brother obviously invested a big sum of money into a mastermind. And it was interesting because when we were chatting, you were saying that when you first started the business,
Yeah.
and you bought a course for like what, maybe
$1,000.
like a tenth of the price or whatever, like maybe a fifth of the price, that was like a crazy decision.
Yeah, it was like we bought like a $999 course, so,
Yeah.
and we were like so like second guessing, like, is it the right thing to do? It's like all the money we have in the account, like, is it really something that we should be doing? We could do it without it maybe, but like investing that money is just the most important thing that you can do, really, because you can't, you know, no matter how much you think you can do it, like without the guidance you can't, like you just can't. You need that guidance, and also the accountability of investing in a course is like really high. Like if you're dropping a serious amount of money on a course, you're holding yourself very accountable to actually.
You're gonna want to make that money back.
Exactly.
So like you're not gonna just buy the course and do nothing. You're gonna buy it and show up every day.
Yeah.
And then like if you put in more money, so you put in more than 1,000 into a program, the same thing's going to happen, just multiplied.
Yeah.
So if you invest 2K or 3K, well, you're going to want to make that 3K back plus an extra 10, 20, 30K on top.
Yeah,
so you get a return.
It can be hard, like especially if you're just starting out. Like it was for us. Like you've no money in the account. Like you're like, I'm not dropping 1,000. Like I need this money. I'm not dropping £1,000 on a course. But like it will be such a small percentage of what you're going to return from it. Like
100%.
Just look 2 or 3 months down the line, you'll be like, that was like £1,000 was nothing for that. And then it's good. Like, I mean, it's hard when you're starting out to think like that, but even further down the line, like that was 2 years ago, and then now we're dropping obviously like a considerably amount more than that, but you still have the same thought process. It's like, is it going to be like, do we want to be putting that much money down? But it always comes back to the same conclusion, is it's going to be worth it. Like, I mean, you have to invest in the right ones obviously, but it's definitely going to be a worthwhile investment. And the money you're returning is definitely going to be a lot more than the money you're dropping.
100%. And it's really that skin in the game. Like, if you invest, let's say you're making no money, right? And you say, I'm going to start SMMA, I'm going to start an agency, and you put 500, 1,000 into something. Like, you are going to do everything you possibly humanly can to make that back. Like, that's just like a natural human thing. Whereas if you invest nothing, you now have nothing to get back.
Exactly.
So you can just call it even, quit, and no skin off your back. Whereas because you're minus 1,000, you want to make sure you're back to positive. Which is why I think a lot of people, when they join a program, even if the program wasn't like the best in the world, like you're still probably going to get further than the person who didn't.
Exactly.
Because you want to just make that back.
Yeah, because it goes back to that personal accountability. I think like you could throw money anywhere and you just want it back. So it's like, because you are personally spending that, you're like driven to make that back. Whereas the other person who didn't put that money down, maybe just be going at their own speed, they don't have as much desire or drive to get that money back. And it's like, but once you make that money back, the snowball effect will really start to kick in, and you'll just get more and more. And that's something that we found massively at the start. Like the snowball effect was ridiculous for us. Like the first client, it took us a while to get our first client, but then we got it. Then the next one came. Then the next one came.
It just keeps
and
coming.
Once you
doesn't
get
it?
2 or 3, then more come, and it's just like, sometimes it got to a point where we did have to start saying no, because we didn't want to take on too much, and then obviously the quality was
that's a nice position to be in.
It is a nice position. It's actually a really difficult position to be in, because when you're stuck, like say you're like 2 or 3 months down the line in your business, and you're like, this is going so well, like there's clients coming from everywhere, like we're going to be making so much money. But if you say like it was just me and him, if we took on like 15 clients there's no way we could have fulfilled that at the time.
Crazy,
so it's like, and also we were just learning as well. Like we weren't like professionals in the game at all. So we were just like, if we took all these clients, we knew the quality would drop and people would start to get unhappy. And I think because we didn't take so many, maybe that's why like our referrals were doing so well, like the inbound was coming so well, because the quality wasn't dropping, because we weren't taking on so much quantity. But even still, like right now, we're still turning people away because we know we're not ready to take all these people on until we have our foundations in place, just to go back to that. But like, sometimes you do have to say no to people, and especially if you can tell they're going to be like a bit of a nightmare client or something, then definitely say no.
Definitely say no.
There's something that we did take on some clients at the start just for the money, and it's just like the negative energy that some clients can give you, and the stress and the problems is not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
And it's very easy when you're starting out to just take like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's an extra 1,500, extra £1,000 retainer. It's like, it's not worth the money if it's going to be that bad. And it's very important to be able to to like, if that does happen for us anyway, we had to make sure that we had to like end that as soon as possible.
Yeah, just cut ties and
that
see you
one
later.
client is taking the same amount of energy as like 4 good clients.
Yeah, 100%. We had the exact same, and like if people are listening to this, they're probably thinking like that's a very privileged standpoint, right? Of saying, hey, I'm going to say no to all these clients, but like that's just the journey. At the start, you probably will fall into the trap. You will work with everyone because you want to make some money. I did it. You've probably done it.
Definitely.
But it's just a natural evolution where you will get to a point you realize, oh yeah, that client there is going to become a nightmare. That client there is going to actually suck time, money, energy, and yeah, they're just not going to be a good fit long term.
Yeah, but I guess it's not really a bad thing because you're learning. Like
you're learning.
Yeah, you take a bad client, you do the work, you realize that it's not the right fit, and it's good to be able to learn those like to have those experiences. You need to have those experiences because it's not going to be plain sailing the whole way. So if you get those experiences in earlier and you know how to deal with them, then at least you're learning from it. Really, like if you take a bad client, you're getting the money, and then I suppose you do have to learn when to cut it off. Is important. Like
you got to learn when to cut it off. But like you said, like you will learn a lot from that because you'll learn now how to vet the next person so that they are a good fit. You also know the warning signs of if it's going a little bit sour, what to look out for, so that you can cut it now rather than 2 months down the line.
That's a big one as well.
They've taken way more of your stress. I just want to go back to, you mentioned Snowball Effect, right? Like I always talk about this, everybody I think does in business because it is true. Like it literally applies to almost every business. But when people are starting and they are, there's no clients, they've been trying to get clients and they're struggling, I think it's really hard to actually understand that because you're seeing maybe people like us and you're like, oh, these guys have clients. Easy for you to say because you have the clients and they'll just keep coming. But I think when people are starting, it's like, it's very, very hard to understand that, right? It's very hard to see, oh, if I just keep knocking on doors, if I just keep sending messages, eventually something will click. And eventually once I get one, I'll then get 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I think that's just for anybody listening. It's like, it's a bit of a mindset shift you'll need to try and make. It's just be aware it does take time. You are going to have to fail over and over again. But when you do that consistently for a long period of time, maybe 30, 60, 90 days, there will come that point. Definitely. That euphoria of client number 1. And then if you do a good job, you will get 2, 3, and it'll just keep going.
And it's difficult because there's no time scale of when that might be. Like you could do your first cold call today and you might get a client and get the ball rolling. But you could also be going 2 or 3 months cold calling, DMing, outreaching on email and getting nothing. And it's very easy then to like lose motivation, just be like, nah, scrap that, it's not for me. So it's kind of it's a tough one really, but it is so true. Like once it starts, it doesn't stop, and it's very easy to get the next one and the next one. But I guess it's that breaking through that threshold of like getting that first one over the line is the hardest thing to do.
It's the hard one, man. Because think about it, it's like if you're starting as a beginner, like you have to learn how to sell them, you got to learn how to onboard them, how to deliver the service. There's like all those things that you'll only figure out once you actually go and do it. Because like you can read about it, right? If you're in my program or a different program, you'll learn about it. You can like copy the systems we use, but it'll really click when you actually have to do it. Because it's different to learn it and to actually do it.
Yeah, you can read, like you can take all the courses, but you're not going to learn like as much as what you will when you're actually doing it. Like you can't prepare for it. It's just, you just have to take it in your stride, and it's not a bad thing at all. Like you're going to have to start somewhere, but you do learn a lot from the first client that comes, and that makes the second client easier and the third client easier. Yeah, it does get easier over time, definitely.
100%, man. So like, we've kind of covered a lot there with the business side. I want to go a little bit on a detour into lifestyle. Because the lifestyle is what runs the business. If you have a terrible, unproductive lifestyle, the business crumbles. So what are some of the things that like are, let's just say, like a necessity for you, whether it's like in your daily routine or in your weekly routine? Like what are some of the things that you do that actually help you stay focused, getting your shit done, and actually feeling fulfilled and productive at the end of the day?
So, well, the gym's the main thing for me, really. As I said, it's probably the same for you and for Jordan as well. Like, and for Paul as well, really. It's just our whole day we have to get it in, because if you don't, like, I feel like it's very easy to just get overwhelmed by everything. When you go to the gym, you're just kind of switching off for that 1 hour or an hour and a half, how long it is, and you're not thinking about work at all. And then whenever you come back, you're just like fresh and you're ready to go again. And it's really important to do that. So that's probably the main driver, to be honest. And I do love being in the sun as well, so I'd like to get a bit of sun.
which is why we're in Spain right now. It's currently winter, you know, back home. So like, we were even chatting about that earlier, right? Of like, you know, if you're going back soon, I'll be probably going back soon as well. Like, it's very different. Like, your mindset is going to be completely different if you're in the sun like today, where it's beautiful outside, or if it's like raining outside and it's just gloomy. I know for me, like, you know, on the come up, right, of like building it up, like that was a struggle. But I definitely had that vision of like, oh, someday, you know, we'll get to a point where like the business makes enough money so that you can just go to Spain for a month or somewhere else.
It's good. It is so good that we can do like work remotely, and it is a privilege, I guess. But it's so true. Like when you wake up at home and it's like dark and rainy and cold, and you just like, I just don't want to be here. And it's very easy for motivation to drop. And it's difficult even to go to the gym. She's like, I don't want to go outside. It's just like for us, like being able to be here is a blessing, really. But people do see this like on Instagram. They'll see like my stories in the sun or anything. They'll be like, oh, you're so lucky, you live the life, like so easy for you. And I'm like, you don't see the 12 hours days of like working that we do.
Just putting it in, 100%. You know, it's like you didn't get there. You didn't just like decide to go to Spain and quit your job and you don't do anything. It's like you're working probably every single day. Literally, you might take a rest on the weekend for a little bit, but you have to put in that struggle and that hustle, you know, to get to that place you want to be. 100%, man. Like, I know I found that real tough. I found when I was back home all the time as well that like your vision, for me anyway, I didn't have grand ambitions. You know, like I had a goal, but when I'm here, my goal is 10 times bigger because you're seeing like you're self-sufficient, you're in a different country, living by yourself with other people, and you're surrounded first off by people that are doing what you're doing and they've got similar goals. But I think secondly, you know, you're even just driving around, you're seeing villas, you're seeing nice places to live, and you're seeing that being like, I want to live there. Definitely. Or I want to have the availability in 1 or 2 years to be like, you know what, I'm just going to buy a house here or whatever it may be. I think that's really inspiring, especially when we were down in Marbella, just seeing the wealth, cars, villas, all of that. Like, it just pushes you and it kind of humbles you as well, where you realize, oh, I'm actually like nowhere near where all these guys are. Whereas back home, you're like a big fish in a small pond. Here, you're small in a big pond. So
and it's especially in Porto-Venus. Like when we were in Porto-Venus, and every car is a supercar. Every car is a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, and then the villas, the designer clothes, everybody has it. Like it's just like it's normal life there, and you're just like, these people are on another level. Like there are so many levels that you need to get to, and when you're at home, you don't see that at all.
Don't see it,
when you're at home, you're locked, maybe just in your hometown in your small city, and you think you're doing so well for yourself. It's very easy for your ambitions to get small, and when you actually step outside that and look at the bigger picture of where other people actually are in the world, there's like, it's very easy for your ambitions to grow then.
You see that there's so much more out there.
There's so much more to achieve, but you don't see that, and that's another thing just to touch on. Like, getting out of your hometown is so important for me anyway. It was like the most important thing I ever did, is just leave. And as soon as I finished school, I was on a plane, and I pretty much haven't really been home for a long period of time since then. And I think that's important for everyone to do, not even just for business, but for like your life person. As
a person, really, right?
There's so many life skills.
You went literally to the other side of the globe. I did very similar things, and like, you know, looking back on it, sometimes you don't look at it as like, oh, that changed my life, but like, it definitely did.
It does. It makes them, like, it really does make a huge difference in your personality and your confidence. Like, I was so quiet in school and like was scared to kind of. I would never have like thought I would just be able to actually get on a plane, just move to the other side of the world. But it was kind of, I don't know what, I suppose my brother kind of drove me to do it. Like, he did it as well when he left school, and because he did that, then I wanted to do it, and it's just like, that was kind of a big influence for me to do it. But now that I have done it, I'm just so grateful that I did, because like, if I hadn't have,
you mightn't be doing what you're doing right now.
I definitely wouldn't have been. Like, I definitely wouldn't have been. I do think about that sometimes. Like, if you just stay in one place, you're not going to grow as a person at all, really. Well, you can, but it's going to be a lot more. A lot
harder. Like that, when you literally throw yourself into a foreign country, you're young, you're by yourself. Like, you have to make friends, you have to cook your food, like, do all the things that you got to do, but like, you're in a different country. That's way harder. Where there's like language barriers and all these different things. So like, I think for anyone listening to it, if you're young and you are in a position where you have the opportunity to go somewhere else, right? Because obviously you're going to have the financial availability to like book the flight,
Yeah.
or to pay for the first month's rent. Once you're there, you'll figure it out. You can get a job if you need to,
Definitely.
whatever. But if you have that opportunity, like, just do it, because even if you only do it for 6 months, like, I guarantee you're never going to look back and regret that 6 months. Because even if it was a bad time, you will have grown so damn much.
So true.
Because again, like you said, the confidence you'll build up. I was very the same, where like I was extremely shy, whereas when I came back, it was definitely a visible difference. I feel like that for sure.
Well. Like, you can't. Whenever you do go away and you come back, you're just a completely new person, and your confidence is so high. But just to go back a bit, like, I remember I was actually working in a restaurant in Belfast, and I was like 18, 19, and I just hated it. I was so like not happy at all. I was in a restaurant working, and I was in the disabled toilet on my phone trying to just get away from being out there.
Just escaping.
Yeah, I was just sitting on my phone in the disabled toilet, and Paul actually texted me, and he just came through, and he's like, I've just found a crazy job opportunity for you. And I was texting back, I said, what is it? He said, there's a job in China teaching English to kids. And I was like, yeah, obviously not going to do that. And then I was just looking around, I was like, I'm literally in a disabled toilet trying to get away from my job. I may as well just
do it.
So I was like, yeah, I'll actually do that. And he was like, actually? And I was like, yeah. And he just signed me up for it. And then I think it was like a month later, I just got on the plane to China and flew there. And when I got there, no one spoke English. Yeah. Not one person. And there's just like, there was no Western civilization at all. I got there, everybody was taking pictures of me. I was like the only white person on the plane. Yeah. Everyone was looking at me. People bringing their children up to take pictures, because it's like a kind of, well, it's not rural, but it's a city in China that is small for there. It's still like 10 million people, but for them it's small. Yeah. And they had never seen, and I was just like so nervous. I was like, I hate this. Why did I come? But then after, I did like 10 or 11 months, and after that I was like, that was the best thing I ever did. Learned a new language, completely grew as a person, came back so much more confident. Like, just everything, just this, like, everything improved. Everything. 100%. But at the start, it's very easy to be like, this is really bad. Why did I do that? It's scary.
It's real scary. It really is.
It's so scary. But you just have to throw yourself in there. Like, you just have to. It's just something. If you throw yourself there, you're going to figure it out. Facts,
man. It's sink or swim. Yeah. And, you know, as a human, you're going to swim. You're going to learn how to swim. It might take a little while. You might be struggling, but you'll make it work. That's a real funny story, because my brother, I think I was telling you, he did teaching out in Japan and Korea. And how he got the job was like very, very similar. It was, my cousin was over there. She was leaving her job, and she just put a post on Facebook being like, I'm leaving this job. They want me to hand it to someone. Yeah. I literally sent a post to my brother. It was like, you may as well have a look at this. There you go, yeah. And he was like, well, I never thought about it. And then he literally applied for it, got it, because obviously he knew her. And, you know, he ended up then being away for like 3 years, where, you know, he went and he was shy, not confident at all. Didn't, you know, even though he was older than me, he didn't hit that peak where like he had matured. Yeah. Whereas he came back, and like, the difference even after a year, man, was phenomenal.
And people notice it. Like, people will notice it in you, and whenever other people start to notice it, it fuels your confidence even more. Like, you come back feeling so much better. It's going to rub off on other people, and everything will just, everyone's energy will improve, your energy will improve, and I feel like it's just such a confidence booster doing that.
100%. Definitely. So basically, just get out of your comfort zone, whether it's starting a business or just literally packing up, moving to a different country. Like, if you're in a rut, I think, like, do something. Definitely. Or if you're like me and you, where you're like kind of shy, not very confident, like, just do something, because the worst thing you can do is just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Because you're going to keep getting the same results, and you're just going to keep burying yourself deeper in less confidence, even more shy than you were the year before. Now just keep going.
I think staying like inside your comfort zone is like probably one of the worst things that I think anyone can do, honestly. Like, I always used to be that guy. I was always just did the easy option. I just want to stay in my comfort zone, but like, stepping outside it, like really outside it, is when the best things start to happen. Like, the best things will happen if you actually just push that boundary as far as can. Just do whatever you like, whatever comes to mind, just do it. Like,
the human mind is it's a mad one. Like, whatever situation you put yourself in, you'll figure it out. Again, you're probably going to struggle. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while, but being comfortable in uncomfortable situations is like how you have a kick-ass life.
Literally, that's so true. Yeah. Such a good way of putting it.
Love it. So before we kind of cut this off, I think we should kind of do a plug, right? So first off, Jack, plug your socials or anything you want to plug, and then secondly, if you want to plug your agency, why not? You're actually representing the socks for anybody watching on YouTube. You can probably see the socks here. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. But feel free to.
Yeah, my Instagram is just Jack Kennedy 99, and my business is Lifelike Media Marketing. You can look us up on Instagram there. And if anybody's looking for any social media advertising or content creation, hit us up. Be happy to help.
Hit them up.
And we can maybe get a free pair of socks with it as well.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you got some value. I thought it was definitely a good chat, even just for me. So, definitely valuable.
Sweet.